All right, Aries, welcome to your weekly sidereal forecast for August 31st through September 6th. My name is Athen. So we've got a couple things taking place this week. It's really split up into two parts. Monday and Tuesday, we've got your ruler Mars conjoining up to Venus and the Sun opposing up to Neptune. So kind of a mixed bag there. I'll talk about that. And then over the weekend, the Sun does trine up to Pluto and Venus goes station direct. So there are a lot of things moving forward this week. It's a lot of energy that's shifting and changing. And let's go ahead and look at where it's taking place in your chart. So first of all, your ruler Mars is finally in a good constellation. He's hasn't been in a good sign since Aries. He was debilitated here in Cancer, not in the best friendly sign here, neutral in Taurus. So now, and this is significant for you also in the sense that he's starting to move up in your chart because there's directional strength. He likes to be at the top of the chart. So you're going to notice, if you haven't already, your energy level is improving, but probably significantly as this week unfolds. Not right away, especially not with this opposition up to Neptune from the Sun, but as the week unfolds. And this is probably a strong motivation in terms of anything relating to your fifth house. That's where a lot of energy is going to be, as it has been. We're going to have a solar eclipse here coming up in a couple weeks, depending on when you're watching this. And yeah, that's where a lot of these new beginnings and shifts are going to be. So this is about anything that puts a smile on your face, the things you really enjoy in life. So it might be creative projects. It might be entrepreneurship, small business. For those of you who have children or perhaps thinking about having children, this can certainly be new beginnings with that. But whatever it is, there's a lot of motivation starting off this fifth house. Very romantic could be too. In fact, the relationship stuff actually does look quite promising. Now, this can be, of course, new relationships or existing relationships. And I say that because the fifth house is about romance, but also Venus in your chart especially rules your seventh house of relationships. So she's been retrograde, and perhaps you guys have been reflecting on, who you value, what kind of qualities you value in people, the people that you are, that you do have a relationship with, reflecting on those, and maybe even the financial or material side of things, maybe rehashing and reworking that as well, since she also rules your second house. But whatever that reflection has been, you'll continue to reflect on that this week. But as the week unfolds, once she starts to go station and then goes direct again next week, a lot of that stuff will start to move forward for you. But with this conjunction up to Mars at the beginning, there is a motivation. And so maybe whatever you've been reflecting on with relationships, maybe whatever you've been reflecting on with your values or the finances, you'll be motivated to start putting energy into. Because Mars, as you know, is very much about your action, your self-determination. And here there's a lot of this self-determination with your ruler going into Leo in the fifth house, which is about that passion, that fun, that joy, that playful attitude, and anything else that's fifth house related that's concrete for you, where you can put that energy into it. And there's expansion there, there's a focus there with the Sun, and there is still that reflection though. So I think just being open to continuing to learn about relationships, learn about the finances, rework, redo those things, but it does look like quite a promising time, at least motivational time for you in regards to those areas, especially when it is just about having fun and just enjoying yourself and tapping into that playful attitude, which is that fifth house. So that's the beginning of the week. And then at that same time, the Sun does oppose up to Neptune. So here, for all of us, there is a sense of uncertainty, or can be, if we're trying to figure out things too much. And this is figuring out your ideals. The 11th house with Neptune has been about imaginations, about your ideals, your visions for the future. It might have to do with collective things or organizations or things relating to your friends, etc. So whatever that is, where there's this kind of ideal surrounding those matters, it's important to balance that with these creative things, because the fifth house opposite the 11th is the things that you're passionate about, the things that are, it's very grounded, it's very concrete, like it's your literal in the now moment creative projects or romance or whatever it is that pulls you into that now moment because you enjoy it. So through that, I think also keeping in mind too that there's really nothing to have figured out in regards to those creative things. It's merely doing it because you're guided to. This is Neptune, because you're it's just happening, it's just flowing, and you can relax into that. And that's what Neptune shows us, is that in this sense, we don't have to have everything figured out in the with the future, with the ideals, with the groups or organizational stuff. There's a higher power at work, and when we surrender to that, then there's a tremendous relaxation. There's a tremendous faith and trust that accompanies that, and that can really facilitate, help a lot of these new beginnings that are shifting up for you in the fifth house with that solar eclipse in a couple weeks, etc. So that's going to be important. Monday and Tuesday, it's a relaxing, lowering kind of energy, sensitive energy. I do recommend anything of that creative type, but I think naturally there will be a lot of new beginnings there for you in that 5th house. Now, over the weekend, the sun then does trine up to Pluto. So this is much more harmonious for these 5th house matters. I mean, it's pretty good anyways. You've got Jupiter here and a couple other things. But over the weekend, I think you might actually want to step into some power, make some serious change with something regarding that 5th house. Pluto is about, and it's retrograde, so it's internal, but Pluto is about, just drawing that line and saying, okay, you know what? It's time for this. It's time to make those changes. It's time to step into that action and restructure that particular area of life. So I think that's just going to happen naturally with the trine. And again, that can facilitate some more new things with that 5th house. And with Venus going station direct, a lot of the stuff relating to your relationships, with your values, all of this, something might click, maybe some new understanding, some new insight over the weekend. But slowly going into next week, that area is starting to move forward. And, the relationships, the values, all of that just kind of coming more naturally with Venus then going direct in that 5th house. And again, it's all about what you learned about self-expression and about creativity, which has been her retrograde in your 5th house in particular. And that'll be some really good information, really good insight. It's not really analytical, but it's whatever you're experiencing and taking that into the following week where there's going to be more motivation, more insights, more self-expression in regards to these 5th house matters. So, Aries, I hope you guys have a fantastic week. If you have any questions, please let me know. This was Sidereal Astrology, very different from traditional Western astrology. So if you are new to this form, do check the description down below for more information. And I'll talk to you all next time. Take care.